Hello, welcome. Happy New Year to all of those who are here with us again. We want to welcome you all and our special guests today, dear friend Dr. Vanessa Anseloni and our dear Elsa Rossi. So I welcome you all. So we are starting today a new series as we've done every year. We pick up someone who had a very important contribution to Spiritism and to the world as a whole. Um, and this year we have decided that we are going to talk about Dr. Marlene Nobre. And Elsa is here to tell us a little bit about our choice, why Dr. Marlene and her contribution. And Dr. Anseloni will be telling in detail about telling us more about her life and her contribution. So again, every first Sunday of each month, we'll have someone talking about the work of Dr. Marlene Nobre. So again, we want to welcome those with us here in the studio. And Elsa, I hand it over to you. So if you could just make the introduction to us, please.
Thank you very much, Munir. Hello, Vanessa. It's always a great joy to be in Vanessa's rooms talking together about something very important, and that is this series 2026. So, my dear friends, all of you that will be with us now and later on, it is a great joy that we gather once again in the year 2026 to begin a new series of meetings dedicated to the events of this special year, in which we will pay a well-deserved tribute to Dr. Marlene Nobre. This series opens with the participation, as you can see now, with Dr. Vanessa Anseloni, who will undoubtedly bring deep reflections and contributions to great value to all of us. Throughout the months, those who accompany us will have the opportunity to attend, on a monthly basis, a lecture dedicated to a specific work or contribution of Dr. Marlene Nobre, allowing us to more closely appreciate the richness of her legacy. We truly count on your presence and support. I would like to share a very meaningful personal memory of Dr. Marlene. Every time I traveled to São Paulo and stayed in her home, I would find her each morning already deeply engaged in the reading and study of the works of Chico Xavier and André Luiz. It was from this quiet, disciplined, and faithful daily commitment to study and spirituality that her books were born, offered to all of us as sources of enlightenment, inspiration, and growth. What I would like to add, as I speak briefly about Dr. Marlene, is that I had the privilege of staying many times, not just once or twice, many times in her home in São Paulo, and I noticed and I learned with her as an example the discipline, accomplishment with the tasks. And she talks to me sometimes before writing a book, some passages that I never on my own could find or extract from the books, André Luiz books, especially science. That is difficult sometimes to understand as I'm not academic person. So this was how her books came. So in there, a lot of books we will be speaking to this year. Some of our speakers will bring some books, especially the ones that really are attached to mediumship, obsession, and you will see if you follow us. Her legacy will be clearly witnesses throughout this year through various speakers. So follow us and you will see every month a different speaker, a different subject. And maybe Vanessa encouraged me to speak as well, maybe in June. In June we'll be together. This invaluable knowledge about Marlene Nobre we will share among us, this legacy. Thank you so much. I appreciate your presence and share with your friends that will be with us. Thank you so much. Over to Vanessa.
Thank you, Elsa. For those who don't know, Elsa was the one masterminding this series that we have every year, and she's also currently the president of the British Union of Spiritist Societies. So these a series organized by the Spiritist Group for Peace with the support of the British Union of Spirit Society and Kardec Radio. So without them, these wouldn't, be coming to you today. And so it is very, very nice to have that collaboration. And of course, the presence of Elsa Hossi and Vanessa Anseloni here, from the British Union of the Spiritist Societies and Kardec Radio. So it's really wonderful to start the year with you both here in the studio with us. So before handing over to Dr. Anseloni, I just want to say some brief words about Dr. Anseloni. For those who don't know her, she's a neuroscientist and a psychologist. She's the founder of the School of Emotion. She's also the founder and former president of the Spiritist Society of Baltimore. She founded and is the president of the Spiritist Society of Virginia and the Spiritist Group of Washington. Dr. Anseloni is a Spiritist medium, fraternal counselor, and coordinates spiritual treatments and workshops. She has translated and coordinated a team of translators of Spiritist books, among those the book Among Brothers of Other Lands and Good News. She is the co-author of the book The New Generation with Divaldo Franco and the editor-in-chief of the Spiritist magazine. So Dr. Anseloni is the founder of Kardec Radio. So it is a pleasure, Vanessa, to have you here with us once again, especially this year to talk about Dr. Marlene Hossi Severino Nobre. So I'll hand it over to you. We are looking forward to hearing what you have to say. So please, time is all yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Munir. Thank you, Elsa. Thank you, friends of the Spiritist Society, Peace Spiritist Society, and the British Union of Spiritist Societies, for always opening the ears with these visionaries of humankind, of these thinkers of our regenerated world already. Dr. Marlene Nobre certainly fits in the category of these missionary spirits. And I'm very honored to know about her. I've met her personally. Funny enough to say, the first time I met her, it was in 2004. In 2004, I was 32 years old, still quite young in the Spiritist movement internationally. I was invited to give a talk at the International Spiritist meeting. And interesting enough, I was going to give this talk in English, which was actually the first time that we had this talk, a Spiritist talk in English in an international meeting at that level. We were celebrating 200 years of Kardec. Janet Duncan was there. And I'll never forget Divaldo Franco seated in the first row, supporting the works of the Spiritist works in English, though we were in France, but representing the United States Spiritist Council at the time. And soon after, when I finished the talk, after embracing a very moving Janet Duncan, who is the pioneer of the English-speaking movement, Marlene Nobre, Dr. Marlene Nobre, approached me on stage and said, Vanessa, I would like to have lunch with you. Next to her was Dr. Décio Yandoli. So we had lunch together. and I got to meet her in person. And it was when she was laying out her beautiful strategies to spread this new paradigm in medicine, the Spiritist medical paradigm. And she wanted us to lead the founding of the United States Spiritist Medical Association. It was a beautiful conversation. Of course, I couldn't accept her invitation then because the Spiritist movement in the English language in the United States was at baby steps. And as I explained to Dr. Marlene, we first need Spiritism in order to have the Medical Spiritist Foundation. Just like in Brazil, it took decades of Spiritism for us to really build the Medical Spiritist understanding. But I had the opportunity to keep in touch with her and explain the importance of spreading these teachings of the new paradigm in the English language. And it began in 2006 with Dr. Doy's help, leading the foundation with Dr. Marlene Nobre, the Medical Spiritist Association in its first meeting in the US. And from then on, I had other encounters with her in other meetings in the US and in England with the leadership of Elsa Rossi, with the British Union of Spiritist Societies and the British Union of Medical, the Spiritist Medical Association, and their meetings, meeting time and again with Dr. Marlene Nobre. And if there is one thing I would like to share with you, learning from the Spiritist literature. Dr. Marlene certainly is one of these spirits that was prepared to come for a specific mission, and she fulfilled it with honors in ways that are unforeseen. Why? Because she's also a woman and a mother. And she also fulfilled that task of being a wife and a mother with mastery, while being a physician and a spiritist, a true spiritist worker. Nobody on earth has ever done it, because all the other missionaries we know were men. But she was a woman. And she went above and beyond the call of her duty. And I have the honor to know more from her and to share with you about her. I'm going to share some slides so we have the opportunity of learning about her. In the book The Messengers by André Luiz through Chico Xavier, we learn in chapter 3 that in the spirit colony Nosso Lar, they have a center of messengers where they prepare numerous companions for the dissemination of hope and consolation, instruction and guidance in various sectors of planetary evolution. Certainly, Dr. Marlene Nobre was prepared to come and fulfill her works. When you're listening to these, my friends, make no mistake. We hear the call and we follow the call, fulfill it. Dr. Marlene was not distracted by any vanity on earth. Dr. Marlene Nobre had an impact in Spiritism, and especially in the medical Spiritist integration. Her influence is felt to date, both in Brazil and internationally. She was born on June 18th, 1937, in a city named Severinia. Interesting enough, because Dr. Marlene Nobre, her family's name is Severino, a family that was born right there in that city, small city, an hour and a half from the city of Ribeirão Preto, which is a very prominent city in the inner state of São Paulo. She had her medical education. It's interesting because she was the only daughter, and she was given permission by her parents at that time in which it was not very common for women to take a professional route. She was allowed by her parents to go to the city of Uberaba in the state of Minas Gerais to begin her professional journey as a gynecologist, later specialized in cancer gynecology. Dr. Marlene was so unique that people say that when she used as a physician to start treating some of her patients, they were so used to associate physicians with men that some patients would come in and wait for the doctor to come in, and she had to say, "But I am the doctor." To see how she was unique at her time already. And why did her family allow her to be far away from them? I'm not going to say super far away, because a few hours driving would make them reach it, but it wasn't that easy at the time, because Chico Xavier was already there. He moved in 1958 to 1957. He was in this transition from Peter Leopoldo to the city of Uberaba, Minas Gerais. And it was at that moment that she received her very evident mentorship from Chico Xavier during her medical school. How did it happen? We all know that Dr. Marlene Nobre was friends with Valdo Vieira. Valdo Vieira was already not only a close friend of Chico Xavier, but he was working with Chico Xavier. He was working. He was sharing the same room. They were roommates, okay? And Valdo Vieira was a medical student too. And that's when Chico Xavier asked Valdo Vieira, "Can you please bring Marlene here? I want to meet her." From then on, she listened to Chico Xavier, participated in his meetings in the center, at home, and that really shaped her for what she was going to do later. I think this is so important. You know why? Because I see nowadays that many of us who are born in a Spiritist family, like Dr. Marlene Nobre, she was born in a Spiritist family. But usually when you go to college, you break the link. You stay in that hiatus. Because some people feel that now it's time for reasoning, as if Spiritism has no reasoning at all. And it's quite the contrary. When well understood, reasoning sharpens up your reasoning. Spiritism will sharpen up your reasoning. So, being those quote unquote dangerous years of cold reasoning, she was balanced out by the teachings, the true teachings of the Spiritist science relayed by Chico Xavier. And thus, she kept herself faithful to the Spiritist mission, aligning it and bridging it up later with medicine. Who knew? Probably, if she were here today and I were asking her, Dr. Marlene, did you imagine when you were in medical school that one day you would be creating the medical spiritist movement and the associations around the world? Very likely she would have said, I had no idea. But the plan of on high was already there. And the beauty of it all is that she listened. And that's one of the first inspirations for us here. I want to talk to you. Because sometimes we don't fulfill our mission because we don't have eyes to see. It's right in our face. And we're there. But Dr. Marlene, no. She connected the dots. She did her share. As André Louis says in the book Evolution into Worlds, we evolve through effort and repetition. She made her effort. She excelled in her practice. She excelled in her deep understanding of the Spiritist message. And the rest of it, you see, it's pure beauty. It's a treaty for humanity to see, to be inspired. Dr. Marlene Nobre, let me continue sharing with you to see some pictures. When she graduated, she was with Chico Xavier as well. So he followed her steps from the very beginning to her graduation, and she stayed faithful. She never allowed herself to be taken over by the material vanity of medicine, which unfortunately consumes our world. In the United States, where I am, I have to share, we are in a deep health crisis here. The health system in the US is in a deep crisis. Why? Because it's all materially driven. It's all business oriented. We're not seeing the person. We're not seeing the spirit. Dr. Marlene understood under the guidance of Chico Xavier, the Spiritist literature, and the loving spirit, especially Dr. Bezerra de Menezes, that she couldn't lose sight of the truth behind true healing, which is the healing of the spirit. This is another picture about Dr. Marlene and her parents. And interesting enough, Chico Xavier was also instrumental in introducing her to her future husband. Yes, who was the vice mayor, right, of the city of São Paulo. Later, he became a prominent politician in Brazil, Freitas Nobre. She was introduced to him. They got married. And they kept this strong friendship. To the right, you're going to see Valdo Vieira, still quite young, Chico Xavier in the middle, Dr. Marlene Nobre and her husband. He was the matchmaker of this union that really left a legacy. Together, besides the foundation of the Spiritist Center Caibar Schutel, the daycare Lar do Alvorecer, they also, thanks to the guidance and recommendation by Chico Xavier, on April 18th, 1974, Freitas Nobre and his wife, Dr. Marlene Nobre, started this Spiritist newspaper called Folha Espírita, which was one of the first periodicals to be in the magazine and newspaper stands in the streets of Brazil at a time in which Brazil was still mostly Catholic and Spiritism was picking up the pace. Though it was already nationally recognized after the amazing legacy of Chico Xavier, especially with a national TV program named Pinga Fogo, where both Marlene Nobre and Senator Freitas were also present and connected to. So you can see this is a picture of the group, Marlene Freitas Nobre, and other prominent people in the Spiritist movement in Brazil creating the Spiritist newspaper, founding it in Brazil, which still exists to date. And I've got to know that last year they started an English written section, which was one of the topics that I always insisted with Dr. Marlene Nobre. All of this is going to fly super high if we start doing it in English for sure. Just so you see, Dr. Marlene Nobre here on the right, she participated. This was when she was visiting Chico Xavier. She was in such good synchronicity with him that she was not only allowed but invited to sit at the mediumistic table where he would psychograph messages. Mediumistically speaking, as Kardec says in the Medium's book, we need great fluidic affinity between the people and among the people at the mediumistic table to make things happen smoothly. So you can tell that Chico Xavier, Dr. Marlene Nobre, had such great affinity. And she kept her eyes on the ball every moment of her life. When I met her, what an elegant woman, an elegance without vanity, an elegance with nobility, but this nobility of the spirit, the nobility of good works, of noble goals. She had high goals to be achieved. As you can see, in different moments of Chico Xavier's life, she was always there. But I have to say, as a mother myself, the most beautiful part of her chapter for me is about her being a mother. Because we have this taboo in religious movements that you can't be a missionary if you're married and you have children. Well, Dr. Marlene Nobre is one of the women that will say otherwise. Not only you can, but you'll be a better one, because by being a mother, you can be more empathetic to people's sufferings than anyone else. She had 2 children, Marcos Nobre and Marcelo Rossi Nobre, who are amazing thinkers, spiritists, and who helped their mother and had a deep sense of respect for her. In their words, they would say that she was a loving mother. They've never seen her shouting, screaming, being rigid. They only saw more of her firmness in the Spiritist movement, where she had to keep things in place. But to hear these men, sons of Dr. Marlene Nobre, speaking of her with great tenderness, great respect, tells us about her, their marriage, and most of all, she as this immortal spirit, an inspiration for us. I know other women who, like Marlene Nobre, fulfill the role of wonderful wives and also professionals and mothers and great spiritists. So if you're watching this, don't give yourself an excuse. Oh, I can't dedicate myself because I am married and I have children. Your children need your commitment with the Christ in order to be better educated. She actually had many hats. She wore hats of the president of the Spiritist Center Carbasciuto, president of the Lar do Alvorecer de Care, and she devoted herself to the end. Let me talk about when she was in the center. Friends, I see many spiritists nowadays who give talks and they think that now they have no time to be in a spiritist center, especially because everything is online. So here is the news. A scientist without a lab is nothing. Kardec, Chico Xavier, Divaldo Franco, and many others like Dr. Marlene Nobre stayed faithful to their teamwork effort in the Spiritist Center till the end of their reincarnation. Make no mistake, without this one-on-one relationship in our Spiritist Center, we are not grounded enough to fulfill our task. We're not solo Spiritist speakers, Spiritist mediums. We are team players. Dr. Marlene knew how to be a team player. She was also focused on the needs of her community. I've got to know of the many stories of at-risk families who were helped through this day Spiritist Day Care that she presided and were taken away from not only poverty, but criminality in São Paulo. Later, she became the president of the first Medical Spiritist Association in the city of São Paulo, and then she helped co-found several Spiritist medical associations in Brazil, in all the states in Brazil, and internationally in different countries, and the International Medical Spiritist Association. But she didn't do this as, I would say, a white-collar job, like, oh yeah, just for the title. No. She really worked hard. She talked to people. She bridged up people between science and spiritism. She was in this personal visitation to cities, states, countries throughout the years. When her husband died of cancer in 1991, from 1990 to 1991, that's when she immersed herself in that mission. So when she completed her task as a wife, she had more room now to go to another level. And her children were already grown up. So then she could now care even more for the universal family. And it was also one of the, with her husband and others, co-editor of the Folha Espírita. At the end, she was there as well. She did much more. I'm just summarizing a few highlights. But let's focus now on one of the most impacting aspects of her works. the professional and spiritist integration. As a physician, and also in this communication between the spiritist science and the medical science. She was trained as a gynecologist and specialized in prevention of uterine cancer. And then, as a spiritist and a physician, she wanted to bridge medicine and spirituality. She authored several works in books, articles, chapters, talking about this new paradigm, okay? Loving and caring to the people she saw at the daycare and also in her presence. Her leadership was brought to a new level when she founded the first Medical Spiritist Association, and then in her role in 1995, when she created the Brazilian Medical Spiritist Association, later playing the leading role in the International Medical Spiritist Association. She didn't do this, again, as a cabinet job. She was there just telling people what to do. She visited people. She explained. She mentored several physicians around the world, scientists, always feeling the instructions coming from Dr. Bezerra de Menezes himself, because, by the way, she was a medium too. So, in those roles, she was a very active international speaker and author, sharing insights on spiritual health, ethics, medicine. And I would say that her key ideas and teachings were to integrate spirit and body, work on ethics and compassion in healing, and applying the Spiritist principle, bringing it to the medical practice. So she emphasized the holistic understanding of who we are as human beings. So if the physician sees us as a Spiritist physician, a Spiritist psychologist, a Spiritist nurse, a Spiritist pharmacist, a Spiritist professional, would see the patient not only by, oh, I have a headache, but let me go through the history, what's going on, and see the broader multidimensional aspect of it all in order to help. I'll never forget when she put us in touch with these British physicians, thanks also to the help of Esa Rossi, who created the Spirit Release Foundation. Psychiatrists who actually understood that much of our mental health issues are happening in parallel to spiritual components that need to be treated as well. Dr. Marlene Nobre advocated that medical care must include compassion, respect for spiritual dignity, and ethical treatment. And she encouraged medical practitioners to consider Spiritist teachings as a resource in patient care when we talk about the energy work, energy medicine. In the US, we call it passes. In the British Spiritist movement, they call it healing, the laying on of hands, how you can treat it. And we have this in our centers. People who leave psychiatric hospitals receive the spiritual treatment and become better in collaboration with the medical psychological care. It's a multidimensional approach because we are multidimensional beings. Before I tell her about her impact, let me go back here and ask a question to you because you're listening to us. Let me ask you a question. When you treat yourself, for example, now I have a cold, I'm recovering. How do I treat this? It's not only about the physical body. What happened that generated this vulnerability? I go through the spiritual components, the psychological components to really treat it and understand the root cause of it, because an illness is a learning experience. It's a learning experience. It's an opportunity to learn who we are. Dr. Marlene Nobre advocated for this new way of seeing ourselves as immortal beings, treating ourselves as immortal spirits, boosting in healthcare the opportunity of a new paradigm when treating patients. And that's why now I go back to share with you about the legacy and her impact. Her influence in Brazil is felt to date. To date. Internationally, we still feel her presence in the medical spiritist associations that are still to continue this work that is vital if aligned with the spiritist centers. It's like a bridge between spiritism and the medical realm. And I would say when you say medical, it doesn't mean only physicians. It's healthcare providers as a whole. In the US, we don't treat medicine as only physician-centered. It is broadly treated by all healthcare providers. And she's an ongoing inspiration. And certainly we recognize her as a woman leader. And you may be asking, Vanessa, but why are you emphasizing so much the fact that she's a woman leader if we're spiritists? Well, because she comes from Brazil, a country in which we have escalated in women homicide. Lately, the disrespect for women, making women vulnerable. Yes, so Marlene Nobre comes back to us today in 2026 to remind us of what it is, the true meaning of being a woman. You're going to be a wife. Because some people say, oh, if I'm independent, I'm not going to be a wife. No, you will. That doesn't make you less of a woman. You're going to be a mother. Yes, you're going to compromise, but you're going to fulfill your other tasks. We're not women just at work. It is in this role of accepting her womanhood that she really grew stronger, much stronger, because she was a family-centered person that never forgot the universal family. She was a woman who not only cared for her womanhood, but she cared for others as a gynecologist, preventing cancer in women at gynecological level. But she didn't stop there. She cared for the family of the women who were at risk and couldn't work without knowing what to do with their children. So the daycare helped the children while the woman would be working. And in her many roles, She elevated and showed to us what really is to be a woman, a grandmother, to be a mentor of many men like Dr. Décio Iantoli Jr. As a leading reference in Brazil, she helped shape global dialogue in the international medical spiritist integration. She inspires to date health professionals, and certainly, as I say to you, she's one of these unique figures, feminine figures in Spiritism, that has left one of the strongest legacies for generations to come. And she's inviting you to join her because she's not gone. She's so present and so willing for people to have ears to hear the instruction she wants to give and fulfill the continuation of these works that deep inside are not hers, not even Dr. Bezerra's. They are of the Christ's. Her books, many books, these are just a few, about mediumship, about science, about obsession, about life beyond, and her last book, Meus Pedaços do Espelho, her relationship with, her memories about the relationship with Chico Xavier. Interesting enough, her son, Marcelo, said that Chico said that she had to write the memories. She finished the book in December, in January 5th, 2015, 11 years ago tomorrow, she discarnated. In her many books, she leaves us the ultimate recommendation. Medicine cannot disregard the spirituality when treating the whole human being. She humanized medicine by spiritualizing it to levels that are yet to be understood. I'm deeply moved and grateful for knowing more of her, and honored that we met her in person and she left this legacy for all of us. That's it, Punir. You have any?
Thank you very much, Vanessa. Wonderful presentation. Thank you so much for the beautiful pictures. It's always very much enlightening for us to get to know what you brought to us today so that we can better appreciate her works. So next month, on the 1st of February, we'll have Charles Kemp here with us talking about life's triumph. So we'll start talking about her work. And you mentioned something as part of her legacy, which is an ongoing inspiration, to be an inspiration for all of us within the spiritist movement and even outside, perhaps even within the medical profession for years to come. She is indeed an inspiration in all aspects of life. And he was, from the little I know of Dr. Marlene Nobre, I didn't have the chance to meet her in person, but I know she had this joy for life, and she was always a very, very nice, very pleasing person, you see. So it's, it's a very good choice, to bring to the public her work this year. So there's so much to be learned. And he managed to do this work to bring Spiritism into the medical profession, into the day-to-day of medical profession. So it was very nice, very good. So thank you so much. I want to say hello to the friends who are here with us. I don't want to miss anyone. Some I can call by their names: Marcia Leon, Carolina Correa, Daisy Gallen, Jay, Riley Shattuck, Felix Porfirio, our dear friend Elsa also has posted some comments here. Walter Graciano, Guilherme Diaz, Carol Piselli, and so many others here. I want to thank for the presence, for the comments here, for being here with us. Is a sign that they appreciate the work that we do, and especially, when we talk about Dr. Marlene Nobre. She certainly had tremendous impact in so many people's lives, and it's a pleasure for us to be here today, talking about her, bringing her an idea what her work was, what she brought, what was her contribution in a nutshell, because it's always very difficult to go into detail and present everything into the right context, when things happen, but it's always good and can always give us some flavor of the tremendous work that she left for us. And she's still with us today. She's also always inspiring us, as I mentioned, in all the work that we do, because we know for us as spiritists, our work doesn't end when we leave our physical body behind. In fact, it carries on. The responsibilities are great, and certainly she is with us until today. Let me just share some comments here. This is from Daisy Gallen. Thank you for sharing the admirable life of Dr. Marlene Nobre with us. What an example as a woman, mother, professional, and especially as a spiritist worker. A true inspiration. Indeed. Also, our friend Guilherme Diaz. He says, speaking with some doctors, there is no question about the respect they have for Dr. Marlene's work. Yes, we know that, and that's why we, are sharing with you all uh, this information about her life and her work. I don't want to know if you want to add something else, Vanessa, before we go to the announcements.
I just want to thank you, Munir, for organizing together with Elsa this amazing effort and this wonderful inspiration to bring Dr. Marlene's legacy as setting the tone for this year, a working year.
Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you, Vanessa. Let me just go through the announcements before we go. For those interested in knowing more about Spiritism and also understanding better the context in which Dr. Marlene Nobre's work is a part of, we have a group where we hold an online study of the Mediums book, and it's on Saturdays, 10:30. Sorry, let me go back. 10:30 UK time, United Kingdom, GMT. So every Saturday, here you have the QR code and the ID and password for Zoom platform where we hold the study of the Mediums book. It is a continuous study. So when we get to the end, you can join it anytime. When we get to the end of the book, we start it over again. And so we can always be with us. And if you missed something, you can always see it in another opportunity or go back, because we also put it in YouTube so you can see it at any time. The Spiritist Center for Peace also holds studies, online studies, every Wednesday, 12 noon. It's also UK time. We study the book Genesis by Allan Kardec and the Gospel according to Spiritism, open to everyone. Here you find a way to, join us, and we'll be glad to see you there. And the Spiritist Society of London holds meetings to study online, also study the book Heaven and Hell and the Gospel According to Spiritism. And also, these are the groups in the United Kingdom that we are closer to, but also you have the Spiritist groups in the United States and other countries in the world where if you search for information, you can also get in touch with us, and we provide, information about Spiritist groups meeting in person, online in our area, if we know, of course, and you can always join and study. But if you want to know more about Dr. Marlene Nobre, please join us again next month, the 1st of February, when our dear friend Charles Kempf, he'll be talking about life's triumph. That's what we had for today. Once again, I want to thank Dr. Vanessa Anseloni for her contribution, for the support of the Kardec Radio, to all the effort that we put into bringing this in the shape of a monthly meeting here to bring some aspects of the work of these Spiritists contributors. And in this year, Dr. Marlene Nobre. So thank you very much. And on behalf of the Spiritist Center for Peace, the British Union of Spiritist Society. So I want to thank you all for being here with us and hope to see you again on the 1st of February. So from us, thank you very much and bye-bye.